It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
And welcome to the realm of geekdom. This is nerd breaking news. We say we have episodes every Monday, but it's all over the place right now. So you don't miss out on any of our videos, go ahead and like, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified whenever we decide to put a video out here, apparently. So don't miss the next episodes. But today, let's talk about and kind of catch up on X-Men 97. We're going to be reviewing, reacting to episode 7 and episode 8. So let's go ahead and start with the Eagle. Let's go ahead and hear what you thought about those last two episodes.
Um, I basically liked the last episode, part eight, episode eight, which is basically part one of what should be a great season finale. A lot of cameos. You guys probably will get into it more. But I think that the main story is, all the X-Men's just basically, suffering, seeing how they're going from, where the mutants were probably the highest form of existence that they know of, right? And then they're just basically being faced with a totally different animal, right? It's not even it's mutant, but at the same time it comes from humans, which they never knew they were. And then they all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we're the bad guys and we're here to kill you and destroy you. And if it's not for Magneto being released, by of course the person who felt guilty for basically leading to the Genosha genocide, right? This doesn't happen. I think that one of the most important points of that episode is when Professor X finally comes back, right? And he basically says, "I hope I'm not too late, guys. I'm late to the party, but guess what? It's me.
All right, looks like
You
we're
might
having
not
some
like me, but
difficulties there.
I hope you love me." So, okay, how about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you now.
There we go. So as I was saying, the professor coming back just at the right time, just when I guess quote unquote we needed him the most. I don't know. The interesting thing about it for me is more of like what are we making of Professor X? We all this time throughout the series, it's been about his vision and what he thought would be a perfect world where both mutants and humans would coexist some way somehow. And then it's interesting to see how this show basically showing you what it could have been without him. How him, as being Professor X, and his how can I say, his influence without him, right? It went to shit. We don't we don't have to sugarcoat it, right? Um, but I'm more excited about what this episode was is setting up, right? We still haven't seen Rogue woke up yet from her basically almost death, and then we see Magneto basically unleashing. So to me, I can't wait for the how many episodes do we have left? I
So we
think
have two
two.
left. We have two
Two
left.
more.
There we go, two more episodes. But so far so good. Many expectations that I didn't know that I had have been fulfilled with this show. The creator again, bring him back. We don't know where he is. Whatever you did, and we don't know yet what he did. But hey, man, we can always talk about it. We can always talk about it. We can talk to Diddy. Maybe we can find somewhere to bring you back.
Yeah, keep
Um,
it in the payroll. Keep it in the payroll because
yeah,
this show is
somehow, right?
definitely, yeah, because this
Somehow.
shows are definitely amazing, and like since the Midge episode, right, episode 6, it has been building up little by little, and everything has culminated to this episode 8. and they have done just an amazing story, and he's been able to build it up, and not only build up the whole situation that's going on between mutants and humans, but he was able to incorporate the different dynamics of families and how you perceive family, how family perceive you, and that I think is amazing because it actually gives a different perspective of on a more individual level too. So it's been amazing, honestly. I can't complain about it. The ending with all the cameos, like Raul said, it was just incredible. What do you think, Professor?
Overall, I loved it, as I'm sure you all expected. For me, what I appreciated about it the most are the different analogies that he makes that are rooted in political science and sociology about how humans interact when they're different. How a lot of times when you're looking at the oppression of groups, they can be from people that actually have similarities to the group. Like Bastion, for example. He's not a mutant, but technically he kind of is. So when you're looking at it, to me, it's a good analogy to Hitler, because at the end of the day, when you do a little background check on him, he's got Jewish blood in him. And that's very much the reality of how a lot of these oppressors actually are amongst against every group, where more often than not they have more familiarity with that group than they would like to admit. Also, how when you're looking at where the oppression comes from, sometimes it can be within your own family, like in Sunspot's case, how they have no problems trusting the authority over their family members because that's what the system says. How sometimes entire communities can turn up against certain minority groups, even though they have no interaction with them. Like what happened when Bastion turned his entire town into these Prime Sentinels. And something to remember is that they volunteered for this. They weren't forced into it. He didn't kidnap them and make them do this. So the
Yeah,
reality
they
of
were
it
the
is
most extreme zaggets of it, actually, too.
exactly. So when you're looking at it, they believed it and they doubled down on it and they turned themselves into that. You got Trish Tilby, Beast's actual girlfriend, his actual girlfriend. He essentially has to pretty much discover through force how she really feels about the mutant human interaction and about being left behind in the evolutionary chain. And I think that's a great side thing he created there. Another great point is the idea of replacement theory, how groups don't do well with the idea that another group's going to come in, overtake them in whatever social hierarchy they believe exists, and essentially push them to the side. How that dominant group will respond to it and will do something about it. And now that you're actually seeing what the human response is, which the X-Men story barely even scratches into before this show even existed, I think is rooted in the reality of what that experience would actually be like. And the guy who put this together is a master. To me, if you don't bring him back, you got to end the show, because if you bring in somebody else, I highly doubt they're going to give us anything of this level of quality. So to me, thank you, Marvel, for what you've created here. You got to know when I say a good thing is a good thing, don't let it go on for too long. Passing it to the kid.
I love the social commentary of everything the professor has just said right now, very eloquently, like
Yeah,
always.
amazing
Uh,
analysis, too.
here's what makes it amazing as well. Just like the professor said, X Men always had a history of doing that. That's initially what they started. We said that long in the previous video. This is what they did. This is the allegories and the analysis of social commentary, what they were going through, and the basis of discrimination. Um, here's what makes, I guess, here's the cool thing about the show. There's only 10 episodes. Each episode is jam packed. While some of it feels a bit rush, they have to, because it's 10 episodes. We talked about that in the last video. That this feels like a Netflix season. Oh, it's 10 episodes. That is what it is, as opposed to the 25, 22 season regular season show. So you feel a little bit rushed, but then you feel like you have to because there's 10 episodes. So that's, and it works a pro and a con. I think we haven't seen that before on Twitter where people were talking about that. It's a pro because you get so much things thrown at you so many different ways, and if you don't pay attention to something, like in the Genosha episode where I said in the video, guys, hey, the Magneto was right sign. It's gonna come back. It's gonna come back. Oh wait, Xavier comes back. That's gonna be a heat up. And wait till Cyclops comes and talks to him. Wait till Magneto comes to talk to him. I think the professor's right in the sense of where it is leading to the inevitable breakup of the X-Men by the end of the season. Um, going back to the con of being 10 episodes is is they have to hurry up, and some parts do get overlooked. And this show's amazing. The people that are complaining about this show that I've seen online are the people that are to the T in the terms of the comic book. You have to follow it to the T, dude. Come on, not everything is gonna be like that. It is what it is. What this show's doing is educating people as well. That we all, whether you did or you didn't see the '90s version of the show, this is giving you a more backstory, which actually it should encourage more people to go back and be like, damn, I want to know about Bastion. I want to know about Cable. About like where the hell is Bishop? We don't know. That's pretty cool. We haven't seen that man since he took Cable in the future. Storm, yo, Forge, let her go, man. Like Jesus. Go ahead, Professor. You got one more thing?
To your point about how it calls back to the original show, most people completely forgot that the first time you actually meet Cable in the original show is in Genosha. So it's probably one of those times he tried to go back and fix it, passing it back to
that. He had to have thoroughly analyzed the '90s show from '92 to '97, and he had to basically get mad legal pads, and he had to, because everything feels like it's connected to a degree that, like, there was something on Twitter today where I sent you guys where Bastion's mom was in the original '90s thing, and if you would have done that little connection, you never would have figured it out. Let's go back to TK's inquiry. The episode 7. I love how this is, and this show takes risks, man. I love how this show basically, Captain America, who? Yo, we're gonna throw that shield, dog. We don't care who you are. We know you're Chris Evans. We know that you're revered since 2011 for the first Avenger. We don't give a damn about that. We're gonna show you that in the animated world, irrespective of Chris Evans, Rogue can mop him easily. But we're gonna, out of respect of Captain America, she didn't mop him. But what she did was, here's the little punk ass shield you have. Go fetch. I love the fact, and I'm saying this as a Captain America fan. I'm like, holy crap, that's pretty cool to see. I love the fact that there was that twist on Trask, that he became the Prime Sentinel. I love the fact that the X-Men got mopped in that episode at the end of episode 7. They didn't stand a chance. They were literally getting destroyed. But for Cable, they probably would have died. That was not even a close of a battle. Episode 8, which again, it's leading to what the Eagle was arguing. It's leading to just the inevitable fight based in the comics, what happens, which it makes me think, I always said this to Professor, is Onslaught coming? Right? Is Onslaught coming? That's pretty cool. We see Onslaught. Episode 8. Let's talk about that one real quickly because it's the most recent one. I love the Summers the relationship with the Summers. I've always loved Scott Summers. I love the fact that Jean is slowly trying to get back to him now. It's not as distant as it once was. I guess because Madeline died. I love the fact that Cable's like, you're not my dad 300 years later. We get it. Austin Powers, daddy wasn't there. I love that. That's cool. I love the fact that Wolverine got his little 5 minutes to shine. Him and Nightcrawler. First of all, anybody who knows about comics or played X-Men Legends back in the day, 20 years ago, knows that Nightcrawler is a monster with those swords. And the fact that him and Wolverine got their time to shine. The con is, if we have to be objective for 2 seconds, yeah, they look cool. The animation, them fighting these dudes, but they didn't do a damn thing damage-wise. They didn't do a damn thing damage-wise. They were sweating.
It's so funny you say that because when I was watching that
come on,
beginning of Wolverine, I was like, what was the purpose of taking it in the sky? Oh, so he could fall and cut people down. I get it now.
But even then, to your point, right? Even then, it looks cool aesthetically, but was there actual damage being done? And so there's a lot of people, by the way, on Twitter, they're calling it justice for Logan, because one of the cons of the show is that they want to see him, tear. What does he call himself? I'm the best at what I do, and what I do is something. What's that line from the comic from the cartoon? I forgot that specific line that he says, but I don't think so. I think that they're giving him. I think here's the thing, and I have to be objective here. While that scene was cool with him and Nightcrawler, he's been taking a backseat for the majority of the time, and people have to understand that the reason why he hasn't, for example, the episode 8 fight, he has no shot against these dudes. And I know that the blind Wolverine fans are going to come out of nowhere and say, well, technically he's shredding them. Dude, they're rebuilding their limbs. Those people could destroy Logan. If this was, I don't know, Joe, for example, at the beginning of the season, then I would have gave them more props. Yeah, Logan should have been doing more damage, but this is a superior villain. Like Bastion could destroy these people if he wants to. So and he's not the only one taking a back seat, guys. Beast is just there, right? Beast is picking up a paycheck. Oh, it's Tuesday night. He's picking up a paycheck. He's not really doing anything. He's giving you that exposition. Gambit got mocked, but at least Gambit went on style. Uh, Morph has to have the greatest health insurance in X-Men history because there's an APP out for actual hits connected with Morph. This guy's shooting percentage is worse than LeBron in the last 2 minutes. It's bad. Morph, he's just there. He's a comic relief guy. We gotta give Rogue apparently has a coma out of nowhere. Now she has a coma. Now we don't know whether she can wake up. Jean Grey, I think if people should be mad about something, you should be mad about Jean Grey. Jean Grey should be way more powerful than what they've shown so far. If people are waiting for Logan, I'm waiting for Jean to show her real strength. So far, you've seen it gradually got better, but I need to see Jean. And where the hell Storm? I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back on this. Where's Storm? All right, could you eat your taco and go back to the fight? Like I don't know. I'll give it back to TK on that.
Oh man, great analogy there. The taco come back. Do anyone have any other comments that you want to bring about the episodes or anything like that?
There's one more thing about Jean that I think is really clever. When you're looking at the character, every episode she gets more powerful, but it's super subtle. Like you saw one episode, she was flying in between the water with little circular things in the water. Now you found out that she apparently absorbed Madeline's memories. And this episode, she shows some power where she can read like the past of objects, which is a whole new thing. I don't know where that came from. They pulled that out of nowhere. So I'm like, and she
Jay, do you recall? Do you recall that in the 1990s, the original 90s cartoon? Let me remind people that there was no Madeline Pryor in that cartoon series. Mm-hmm. Madeline Pryor started now. In the comics, she was around, guys, but not in terms of like animation. This is the first animation of Madeline Pryor in this continuation of the 90s. In other words, they implied in the 90s that Cable was Jean Grey's son because there's no Madeline Pryor. So when she said in the episode, I felt him, like I birthed him and I held him, I'm actually thinking that was Jean Grey. And they're going to twist it back to the 90s.
Oh, that'd be twisted.
Think about it. Why would you say that? And there's no connection to that. And by the way, I'll be remiss to if we ended without saying thank God of the cameos, because the fact that Omega Red was shown, he is probably the most underrated, again, no pun intended, Omega type level villain of Weapon X. That it's a damn shame that he doesn't get his flowers enough, because in the 90s, Colossus and Wolverine were struggling against this guy. Let me just put that into context. Colossus is the dude who's like, I don't know, a lot of people in the world are like, I'm going to take a shot at Colossus. Nah, I'm good. I'm not taking a shot at that, man. And I don't know a lot of people, guys, who are saying, I want a one-on-one with Logan. Nah. Omega Red could actually beat both of them. So it's one of these things, like Omega Red, Polaris. Who else do we have the cameo-wise? Again, I know Dr. Doom.
Spider-Man,
Dr. Doom. By the way, the creator on Twitter confirmed that was the 1994 Spider-Man from the cartoon. So I'm like, oh crap, there you go. They're connected because there was a crossover between them. Yeah, there's a couple of them. So Baron Zemo, we saw Dr. Doom. Am I missing anybody? Polaris, who's always underrated.
The other one is there was a cameo of the other Phoenix. And the thing is, because
Rachel,
because nobody knows who the heck that is.
I'm confused now. I'm over here like, hold on, who?
Everyone's eyes glaze over it, and in the comic books, that's the person that actually raises Cable. So when you're looking at it, it's kind of like, maybe they'll do something with that. Maybe they won't.
We haven't talked enough about the last 5 minutes. I know we mentioned Xavier, which you have to roll your eyes at this point because he basically ghosts these people. He turned off his cell phone, his notifications. He said, "I gotta go on a vacation. Y'all can miss me." I finally found love.
Yeah, he ran off with the girl.
I could finally walk. Yeah, I could finally walk again. Like, yeah, he sold these people out. Magneto, right? Could we stop? That's Mystique. Could we stop? Like, that's Mystique. That's clearly Mystique. We talked about that. That's the theory. Mystique is the one who. What? I think that's Mystique. When Magneto. Here's the thing. Here's the one thing that it was nitpicking that I'm like, I'm gonna let it go because I love the show so much. So you're telling me Magneto was able to do that magnetic pole, that OP move that everybody loves. Right? I thought it was beautiful, but he got mobbed in Genosha. How does that? How does that make sense?
It's like Batman, bro. With prep time, he could do anything, but without prep time, he's like, oh no, I'm just a human.
No, Jay, because he chose to throw a truck instead of use his damn magnetic pole like he just did over here. Come on, man. Again, that's a nitpick. I'm not gonna get at that. I love the show, but
he was so angry. He summoned the depths of his power just to wax these people.
No.
What
he did was when he associated himself with the Morlocks, you know what L is coming. I keep telling people that. Like, if you're down with the Morlocks, an L is not far away.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll go ahead and talk about that, how they're building up that war between the mutants and the humans, especially with that. What Magneto did is basically, like Logan said, the declaration
It's
for it.
dangerous to go alone.
So that's going to be
Take
interesting
this.
for the next couple of episodes. So we'll end it with that. Go ahead and stick around for the next episode with us, where we're going to go ahead and do the recap for episode 9. So thank you for tuning in. So whether you're a Jedi, time traveler, or an X-Men, keep your fandom alive and your warp drive engaged. Until next time, fellow nerds, this is Nerd Breaking.